Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Moon Magic book and card deck. Now, this deck has never been on my radar. I didn't even know it existed until my nephew's wife, which I guess you'd call my niece-in-law. I've never heard anybody say that, but it makes sense because, nephew marries wife, then it becomes your niece and in-laws. But anywho, she was kind enough to give me this deck for Christmas, and I am just so grateful for it. And I'm really curious what it looks like because I wanted to, I could have just, gone online, looked it up, and seen what the illustrations look like. But where's the fun in that? The magic comes when we're just getting into it. And so that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to get the plastic off of it, which there was already a little tear in the plastic. So it's really easy to get that out. Ooh, nice and squeaky too. So that's really cool. There is the back of the box that you can see, and it says this enchanting deck will reveal what the future holds for you. Using the divination readings demonstrated in the book, you can find guidance, direction, and cosmic secrets. Oracles are not simply a deck of cards, they are an ever-changing storybook of life and all its possibilities, with each card revealing a chapter and each spread building up to reveal the bigger picture. In addition to layouts for more traditional card readings, these cards can also be used in meditation and even in magical work as a point of focus for spellcasting. In this way, the cards become a spellwork tool in their own right, helping to concentrate the mind on the magical task at hand. So that's what all of that says on the back, and it says it includes a 50 card deck and it's 128-page guidebook. So this has everything you need to start taking control of your life, to get an idea of what the future might hold. I never believed that the cards can truly tell what the future can hold because, we have free will. We have the ability to change. We have we can get an idea of what the future might hold, but it's it's up to us, the ones living the life, in order to make that future happen or to avoid it if that future isn't something we like. Now, here is the guidebook. You can see in there, it's very, very, very detailed. You've got all that information I'm excited to dive into and learn. And just from the pages, right there, and then you kind of see the cards right there. This is going to be a very, very beautiful deck, and we're going to get into it and see what they look like. That is the inside of the box. Not much going on in the box. There's the top, no words or anything written there. We have this nice blank sheet of white paper to keep everything safe that, you could draw on. You can make things in. I could draw a raven or a crow or something on it. Now, I do need my handy dandy scissors to get into the cards themselves. I'm going to move this out of the way. I like how it's just kind of popping out through there. That's cool. But we're going to take the little handy dandy scissors right here and snip off that plastic right there. I think I got it. Got that little hole right there so you can pull the plastic off of the deck so we can get in and see what the cards look like. That first card, it just says Dark Moon. So there's not a lot to go with, but I love the fact that it's numbered. You can see that one right there. Because the numbers in themselves, if you have an oracle deck and you're structured with the tarot and everything like that, so if you're like me and oracle decks are not your first go-to, because you like the structure and everything of the tarot, then those numbers can easily help you connect them to the tarot, as well as connect them to the energy of numerology, because that one right there can be action. It's the magician of the major arcana. So it's those ideas, the book's obviously going to give us more information than this, but the ideas in our heads, we have to take action on them. Those thoughts, those dreams, those ideas, they might be dark, they might be inside of our heads and they've never seen light, but we take action on those ideas and they can become something. So that is the Dark Moon card, followed by the New Moon card with that High Priestess energy right there. It's very beautiful the way the colors and everything are on this deck. I'm going to flip it over right there. There you see the back, and it's got the different phases of the moon. I mean, this is called moon magic, so it's obviously pictures of the moon, and it's just, I love it. It's very cosmic. It's very galaxy. It's just missing the crow, right? There is the Empress energy with the waxing crescent. Wax on. This is how I remember it, versus waxing and waning. The wax on would be the new moon moving to the full moon. And then the wane off, it would be wax on, wane off, would be the going back to the new moon after the full moon goes dormant again, or not dormant, but the 28 cycle, it goes on to complete the full moon, and then it goes off. I had it in my head. It made so much sense. And then I said it, you know, just wax on, wane off. That's how I remember it. But there is the waxing crescent. There is the first quarter. You got the like the half moon right there. I love seeing the moon in the sky, and like it's like this. If you look really really hard, you can see the rest of the shape of the moon, and I think that's cool. Waxing gibbous is next, and there is that illustration. Almost, not quite full. Interesting if you're watching this video right as it comes out. I do believe today is the full moon. So if you look up, and I don't know if you're in like a state or a place that has snow, it's one of the most beautiful sights in the world. That full moon over the blanket of fresh snow that hasn't had like treks and stuff like that in it, you can see forever when you see that. It's just magical. Then there's, of course, there's the red moon, and there is the waning gibbous. I've seen a blood moon like that, I believe, once. I actually stopped and looked at it, and it was creepy to say the least, but it was awesome. Last quarter is right here with this illustration, and there is the 8, you know, success and wealth, empowerment, and having that confidence, you know, that strength to be fair to yourself. See, every card can be that tarot energy, even if you're not looking at a tarot card, right? There is the waning crescent with the 9. The blue moon, you know, new chapters, once in a blue moon, taking those ideas and doing something with them. Black moon, how gorgeous is this illustration? I love it. I love that circle right there, that moon reflection in the water. That is beautiful. Super moon is like maybe more beautiful. And look, there's actually crows. I'm going to pretend they're crows. They might not be crows. They look like crows, right? They've got that giant supermoon in the background, the tree and everything. Wow, that is a gorgeous card. The blood on the moon is this illustration here. So there's a lot going on there that I've never actually heard those words before, but that's very interesting because 13, that is Death of the Major Arcana. That card is followed by Moonstruck, which is this illustration right here. Again, gorgeous. I like how she's just like, it looks like she's holding the moon, or maybe when this picture was taken, whoops, she actually was holding like a little symbol of the moon, so that's really cool. The Moon Dancer, again, absolutely beautiful. This deck is so unique. I have the Moonology decks, the Moonology and the Manifestation Oracles. I have both of those. Those are really, really popular. I think a lot of people know what those are, or have seen them at least. And this one is just completely different, and I'm really excited to add it to my collection. So thank you, Katie, for thinking of me for Christmas and giving me this. Lover's Moon is right here in this illustration. That's really cool. Moonflower, that is awesome. I've got friends that actually own a company called Moonflower, so that one's just like, hey, nod to you guys, so that is really cool. I dropped the card again. There is Quicksilver with that illustration. Taking the moonlight right there, you know, taking those dreams and doing something with them. 21 is the Witch's Moon, which relates to the world of the Major Arcana, and that's where the tarot has to stop helping us. Because 21, we know that's the completion of the Major Arcana. Now, you can play around and say, you know, silver dollar 22, it's doubled out of the High Priestess and the Emperor, but, you know, start trusting your intuition, growing off of that, taking the thought, whatever comes to your mind when you see these illustrations. There is Lucky Star right there with that awesome pentagram in the center right there with all the moon phases around it. Beautiful card. Arcturus, I'm horrible with pronouncing things, so that could be very wrong, but beautiful, beautiful illustration with that star or that galaxy or whatever it is right there. I've heard that name, but I'm not 100% what it is. Know what it is, obviously. Guidebook, again, definitely helpful. Here is the Moon Goddess, followed by the Sky God. Espat is this illustration right here. That is beautiful. I love those colors. That's very close to that color I was talking about with the full moon over snow. It's that weird, almost creepy, magical blue. I love that. Sabbath is right here in that illustration, followed by Moon Hair. And wow, the colors on this illustration, that is gorgeous. I like that a lot. Night Owl is this illustration right here. Wolf Moon is right here, howling at the moon. You know, it's true. Like, you think that wolves and coyotes and things only howl at a full moon. No, the coyotes and stuff that live around here that I hear every once in a while, it doesn't have to be a full moon. It's just they're outside, they're having fun, and they cheer and they yo. I personally, like, I love, like, wolves and coyotes and stuff, because to me, they're just like wild dogs. Yeah, they'll kill you if they get the chance, but you can appreciate them from a distance, right? So there is that illustration. Fly by Night is the illustration we have right here. Again, the coloring of these cards are absolutely gorgeous, because there's color to them, but they're very dark. It reminds us that there's so much power and light actually there at night that we can work with. We sleep. That's our time of slumber. We learn so much from our dreams alone, but when we just appreciate that full moon at night, there's nothing quite like it. And then we go from all these moon cards to Toad. So that is fun and random. It looks like we're getting out of the moon phases, but hey, magic is everywhere. That Toad is strange to say the least, but very interesting still. Black Cat is right here in this illustration. Again, gorgeous. I love the galaxy and the cosmic colors and everything in the background. That is beautiful. Moonstag is right here. That beautiful buck staring at us with his moon crown in his antlers. So that is really cool. Unicorn Moon right here in this illustration. Gorgeous again. I've never actually seen a unicorn, but I don't doubt that they could be alive, or at least alive at some point in history. And maybe it's like the dodo bird, and the dodos of humanity just kept catching them until they weren't there anymore. Yeah, there is the unicorn moon. Lion Rampant is this illustration right here. Very interesting. It's like very playing with the moon, that lion is. So that is cool. Nightmare. That is an interesting illustration. I love it because it's like you think of nightmare. You think of those dark things. Those things that wake us up and then we don't want to go back to sleep. You know what a nightmare is. And yet this is a mare, a horse, at night. So that is really fun and interesting illustration. Moon dust. There is that moon dust. It's like all gold sparkles into the shape of a crescent moon. So that is cool. Moon blues right here in this illustration. Four of Cups vibes. Major Four of Cups of the Tarot vibes staring at this card. Because it's like, I appreciate this. I'm seeing that bright full moon, but meh. Been there, done that, tired of seeing it. Just major, I don't know why. I just get that energy from that card. Like moon blues, you're just blue, you're sad, like depressed, and you don't see the good in everything. So that strong foundation with the 4 can help you begin something better and change your life into one that you truly enjoy. So that is my thought process on moon blues. Star Child follows moon blues in this sequence. There is that illustration. Shadow work is the next, and there is that illustration. So there's a lot that you can go off of with these cards. I mean, it's not like Structure to the Tarot, and it's a very interesting oracle deck. But like Lunar Light here, you can take these thoughts, see these illustrations, especially the ones in the second half of this deck, because there's so much to learn. There's so much to just inspire your own intuition. It's an absolutely gorgeous deck. Just look at this Milky Way card, and the way that's terrifying to me personally. That is absolutely freaking terrified. I know it's the opposite of claustrophobia. What is it? Agoraphobia? Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but that whole not being able to see land anywhere around you, just the stars and everything. Sure, it's going to be pretty, but just scary thoughts about that card. The next illustration we have is Stargazer. There is that illustration right there, reaching out for the moons, knowing there's more to what we more than what we just see with our eyes. Fascinating card, beautiful. And when we have that ability to just know that anything is possible, and we have more power and everything than we realize, and there's more to what we see with our eyes. We can start making all of our wishes come true. There is the Wishmaker card in the illustration. Again, beautiful. Nightshade is the next illustration, and we have that one right there. Dreamweaver is this illustration right here. Again, the humpback, is that a humpback whale? It looks like a humpback whale, and it's just those emotions, the whales live in the ocean of emotion, and that whale is like, let its emotions just help him rise above any negativity and everything, and has that power. So beautiful illustration again. And then last but not least is our 50 card, Glimmering. So that is the deck. You can see the backs there are absolutely gorgeous too. They are obviously you can see the black up here at the top and the blue on the bottom. So they aren't really, you don't have to read them reversed or anything like that. The guidebook, as I said, is right here. And you've got all of that information there that will tell you everything about the cards. And you've even got spreads and everything that you can work with the cards too. And I mean, the spreads, you can technically like get a different deck and use those spreads too. So there's a lot of information in this deck. So not necessarily a deck that you want to begin your tarot path with, but if you're looking for an awesome oracle deck that is, connecting you to the world around you and the moon and all the magic and everything, the moon magic, then this is definitely a deck I'd recommend. And again, I thank my niece-in-law for purchasing it and giving it to me for Christmas. So that is really cool. I will look online now that we've actually, we've gone through it and looked at all the illustrations, and if I can find the link to where to purchase it, I will absolutely put that in the description below, so check that out if you are looking for that. That's where all my information will be as well, where to book a reading or anything like that if you're interested. Let's keep that white piece of paper in there and put that box back in. Ooh, the sound of that, I don't know if you can hear it. I just think that's so satisfying, the way that it closes. But all that information will be in the link below. I will be more than happy to do a reading for you with this deck, if a personal reading, if that's something you are interested in. It's not tarot, so it might be a little bit different. But if that's something you're interested in, message me on the socials, comment on this video, or book a reading directly on my website. The way that I do my readings is, once you order a reading from me, I'm going to send you a personal email, 1, thanking you, and 2, asking you, what you're really interested in looking at, and what deck are you wanting me to work with, because that's a huge thing. If you don't know and you don't want to tell me or anything like that, that's cool too. I always use my pendulum then. Actually hang my pendulum over my decks and ask it which deck you want to work with, and that works really well too. So all of that will be in the description below. As always, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I wish you the best in everything you do, and I will see you again in the next one.